For the Daily Sundial, I'm PJ Shahamat, and this is Sunset Sessions. I'm joined today by indie band Jacklen Ro. Hello.
Hello.
So you guys have been my obsession recently. I heard you earlier this week, and I reached out to you, and you guys got to meet like within a day or two. What I've really been obsessed about is your textures, your harmonies, your songwriting, basically. I'm curious how you approach songwriting because obviously you can't go in with harmonies in mind. How do you work that out?
Well, it's kind of funny. Like Jackie and I write a song as if we are one person writing the song. Like we think like instead of writing a melody as you're writing a song, we're writing two melodies as we're writing the song. It's like our two voices, like, because we've just been doing it together for so long. It's like we think as one voice, and like we'll in lyric writing, like we'll literally alternate single words. You know, like it just kind of flows between us, right?
Yeah, and now if we write a song on our own and we bring it to the other person, it's almost as if we were like creating space for them to put harmonies
Yeah,
on.
it's hard to write a song alone because it's like writing. It's like sounds like half of a song.
So you write together?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But sometimes we'll come with like bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Or like we write songs that are for Jacklen Ro.
Yeah.
And then you bring it to the band as
Yeah.
well.
Like Sunshine Girl, he
Yeah.
wrote alone, but
Yeah.
it was like perfect for the band.
Yeah, I love that song.
It's
Oh,
my
thank you.
favorite
Yeah.
too.
It's one of my favorites on the album. And so you're no stranger to the cover as well. Your YouTube page is like, I would say hundreds of covers.
Yeah.
What makes you think a song is good to cover?
Usually the reason why I started learning how to play guitar and singing and all that stuff was just because I fell in love with all these songs, and I like can't stop listening to a song if I get into it, and then I'm like, I need to like sing it, and I just was obsessed with lyrics, and I don't know, it was more just appreciation for each of those songs. It's not really, oh, this song is popular. It one time got into that because my manager or someone, I don't know, was like, you should be thinking about what's popular to other people. And then I hated it for a little bit. I was doing like, no, I won't call anybody out. Every song is beautiful in its own way.
Yeah.
But
I disagree.
hey, if it's genuine,
That's true.
I think
If it's
all
genuine.
songs are beautiful.
Yeah.
So in your earlier YouTube days, were you just doing it by yourself, or I guess when did Kaylin start coming in?
Well, so yeah, Jackie you've been doing it since how
Like
old?
middle school.
Yeah, Jackie.
My sister told me to do it. And then I was like uncomfortable when I first started. And then I met Kaylin in high school, and we just fell in love as partners. And then
Yeah, even then I still didn't start doing like the covers until really we moved to LA out of high school, and then we just did everything together.
Yeah.
And then
So you went to LA right after high school.
yeah,
What was that conversation like?
it was insane. So, you know, we were in high school. It's like, do we go to college? Do I not go to college?
I
Jackie
graduated.
Yeah, Jackie graduated a year before I did and was living in Arizona
I went to Berkeley for a week.
for a week. That's true.
In Boston.
Yeah.
Okay.
First one to drop out that year.
Yeah, she was the talk of the town. And then, so I was doing doing audio engineering and stuff. So Jackie came back to the school for like 2 weeks, and then we recorded Love Junkies album, which is like this was like us being like, we're a band now. Like we had been a band like the
Doing
previous
shows
year,
at the
just
school.
doing duo stuff. But like we recorded this album, we're like, here's the songs, they're out, they're realized, and then shortly after that, we decided we're gonna go to LA and make this happen. You know, we found there was 2 producers who found us who were
Off
interested in
SoundCloud.
us.
Sorry for
Yeah.
interrupting.
We had a SoundCloud, like a bunch. We have some cursed SoundCloud
Yeah,
stuff
where we use our stomachs
as drums.
That's hilarious.
horrible, and it's off
It sounds
time.
really, really bad, but it was
that
fun.
were you trying to be funny, or were you just doing it on purpose?
It was for fun.
We were just really weird. we were very weird back in the day. And I don't know, it was for fun, but it was also serious. I don't know. But so we found these producers and we were like, wow,
Yeah.
producers, LA.
They took us to Sunset
Sunset
Boulevard
Studios.
studio,
Yeah.
and Hannah Montana was on the wall, and all these golden records, and we were starstruck. We were like, "This is a real deal."
Yeah.
And it turned out we didn't work with them. They
Well,
kept
it was a
trying to make
horrible
me sing
experience.
super high.
Yeah,
and
they
my
kept.
voice.
They wanted Jackie's voice right on the crack, you know.
I see.
So they kept making us do it higher and higher and higher. Jackie's voice was dead by like the second song.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "That's like really being weird about." They're like, "Oh, it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Yeah.
Just take a couple minutes and recover, and then we'll try it again." It's like that's not like it was just
Yeah.
like the vibes were really bad.
So when you stopped working with those producers, how did you carve out a space for yourselves in LA?
That was tough.
Yeah,
Well,
we were kind of just.
it kind of ended with a explosion because Jackie moved back to Arizona and I stayed in LA and then
Well-
we didn't talk for like a year.
No, that's not true. That is not true. It felt like a year because we should be together.
Yeah.
But we were staying at our friend's house on a futon. We were making music videos. We were doing the open mics, everything that we could be doing. We were going on the pier in Santa Monica playing,
Busking. Yeah.
just being goofs. And then one of our music videos got found by John Seidel, who's a music manager, and he got us linked up with Lollipop at the end of that year.
Yeah.
And I didn't move to LA with Kaylin like we had planned because I was like, I can't stand. I was very codependent with him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that
we were
LA
living on a
time was-
futon together, and like it wasn't enough sleep. I was not like I had never had to take care of myself before.
Yeah.
And we didn't really have the means to be taking care of ourselves. Like I don't know how
It
we
was
did.
like probably max we would spend like 5 to 10 minutes apart from each other each day.
Wow.
Pretty much. Like,
It was
like it
insane.
was insane. We just did every single thing together. And it was like fresh out of high school, like just crazy energy,
Yeah.
But yeah, and like there was like I think it's valid to like there was a period of time where we sort of went separate ways and did our own thing. Like we had to like recover from that period of time. But then when we came back together, yeah, we found John, we found Lollipop, and it was like this whole different energy behind it. It was
Yeah.
like what we wanted from the music world, you know?
How did you navigate the pandemic too? Or was the
Oh.
producing thing during the pandemic?
In the midst of the pandemic happening, we freshly got signed to Lollipop. I was living in Santa Barbara. Jackie was living in Arizona. And so, we were in our own worlds, isolated from everything. But we'd go down to LA every once in a while and record at Lollipop. And like they were, we released a Christmas song and like that sort of got attention. And so it's like we're living in our own sort of separate, isolated worlds, but like our careers are starting, like for the first time they're really starting. And it felt like, and we're recording in the studio and we love our producer and our manager's like getting us stuff. Like it was like the beginning of like sort of our efforts, like
Paying
off. Yeah. And so, it was interesting, that sort of dynamic,
Yeah.
But it was kind of nice to not be just thrown in to the normal music
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, totally.
Because now we're more prepared. It was like a slow start where we were staying in one place, making videos in our homes. And then now we're on tour where like
Yeah.
if we just jumped into that, I think we wouldn't have been prepared.
Yeah, true. It really like was a good easing into like it was just like I don't know, it was like you could stay sort of separate from the world, but also like the world happening for you at the same time.
With like TikTok and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Social media, like, you know, people were on social media a lot more. And so it's like the stuff that we were putting out was getting received, and it was interesting.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to know a little bit about what went into your album, your most recent album, Sunshine, I'm Counting on You. Can you tell me about the process of making it? I guess just like the recording process, the songwriting process. The album is a love album. It's from what I understand, it's an album on the ups and downs of love. And I'm curious to get her from the source what the process was like.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's funny about the album is half of it is recorded just me playing all the instruments, half of it is the full band playing it. So like, I just think that's a funny dynamic because like some of the songs are like really tight with everything and everything's super locked in. Some of them are looser. The looser ones I played the instruments on just for reference. But like, I would think it was written about, I would say, two people in particular, the person I was with and the person Jackie was with. So, you know, there's songs like it's interesting with all of our songs. Each song that's a love song is like half about Jackie's situation, half about my situation, you know? And so it's like sometimes like it's really cool because there's like a song like Time Bomb, for example, like it's like it's about a relationship I'm in, a toxic, self-destructive relationship, but then Jackie's in this really nurturing, loving relationship at the same time. So then there's that when like the bridge is very tender and like emotional, like it's Jackie's going through that part of the relationship, and so it gives the song like the both perspectives of the situation that you're in, you know?
Yeah. You just put everything so beautifully. I want to keep the space.
No.
But also, it's just like a long period of time because he was dating his ex-girlfriend now, like a year after we finished the album.
Yeah.
So we have like 78 songs written right now.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we kind of just pick and choose what vibes go together. So we just chose all the love songs.
There's a lot of bands do, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. For every album, they write 100 songs and they choose the best ones.
Can we do that?
Yeah, why not?
I'd love to do that.
Yeah.
I want to like get you every week to write a song with me.
Yeah. We have a bank, like a bank.
A song
of
bank.
songs. Yeah.
Not like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but you were conceived on that tour. You
Oh
have
my
the power.
God. The Californication tour.
Wow.
I was conceived on that tour.
Blessed.
By the
honestly.
sound.
Yeah, my
Text.
dad was the sound, like the audio, or he wasn't the front of house guy, but he was like the front of house guy's first man, and my mom was one of the monitor techs.
If you ever play with them, that's a great story.
I know.
I know. We keep putting it out so they finally find you.
Yeah.
I guess what I'm also curious about is some of the textures that you have on the album as well, like Made of Sugar.
Yeah.
When the drums first come in on that song, it sounds like the room mic, kind of, and then it comes in with the actual drums.
Yeah.
What are the decisions behind those textural things?
I love production questions so much. Do you listen to Crumb?
A little bit.
Their most recent album I really like, and they just blend like digital drums and acoustic drums so nicely, and I really wanted to like do that some more, but like our producer that we work with is very like retro and like does things like in a super retro way, and so like instead of digital drums we just kind of recorded like a tom and a snare, really crunchy, really like blown out, like and use that sort of as the like kind of robotic digital sounding drum. And I think it's just like when those real drums do come in with the low end and the fullness, it like that's what brings the dynamics out, you know. I think that was like the idea behind it. Because drums, you know, drums, like it's hard to have good dynamics on a recording because it's a recording and you want it all to be sort of loud the entire time, but like you can, with frequencies, adding and taking away frequencies, you can give the drums those dynamics. And I think that was like the idea there.
That's so cool.
But yeah, that's
Very
fun.
cool. So you dropped Self-Control fairly recently. Can you talk about the song and also the music video that accompanies the song as well?
Oh, the song was so much fun to write.
Yeah.
I had just gotten broken up with and I had just started trying to date again. I get it all from real life, which maybe I should try to figure out a different place to get inspiration, because
I love when Jackie's like fun, because when Jackie's like doing good, she's like not about to write some angry song.
Yeah.
But then like some unfortunate thing happens to Jackie and I'm like, ooh, we're gonna get a juicy song.
I come to Kayla and I'm like, I'm peeved.
Yeah.
I got ghosted, you know, it happens to everyone, it's not personal. And I was peeved because I was like, you know, it was more of an ego trip. Everyone has that. I'm a person. Whatever, we don't need to get into it. But I was like, Kaylin, we need to write a song. I'm like mad. And he just gives me the best line. The guitar line on that song is just like my favorite. And then we write in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it just feels like a complete release. And it's just like, I think it was calling back to my childhood self that was always just chasing after a relationship. And it's like thinking that you're something great with someone. In reality, you're not really, I mean, that's separate from the song, but thinking that it's going to be amazing and that this is the person, and in reality, it's not. And it's like tension in the whole song because I know that that's not the case. This is why I have you talk, because you're so good at talking.
Well, there's a beautiful harmony at the end too.
Oh yeah,
Like,
that's
kind of
gnarly.
like, for me at least, like hearing that, it sounds like kind of a resolution to the feeling
Yeah.
as well.
It's like letting
yeah.
it go.
Exactly.
I think that's like the end of writing it. It was just like actually letting that part of me just like not exist anymore.
Yeah.
And realizing it's just toxic stuff.
Yeah. Well, also it's like I really like a theme I like about that song a lot is like the you know, the theme of self-control, like being able to like just freak out because you can't control yourself anymore, like and just let it go, you know, like that's like pretty sick. And originally for like a music video, you were just gonna have like people like losing their tempers and freaking out, you know.
We were gonna have like a war. We were gonna be both like different countries, and then we're just pissed at each other, and when we get upset, like people die.
We just send our people to go like
That's brutal.
Yeah, but that's kind of how it feels.
Yeah, it's like you're like your lack of self-control has consequences.
Yeah.
You know, you need to do it, but like the way it can affect people can be really big, you know, and catastrophic. And I feel like that's like, you know, it doesn't really like maybe come off like face value if you're listening to the song, but like I feel like just the release and like versus the like constraint, you know, is like a theme in there, you know, emotionally.
Last thing I'll say about this song, I think the past couple of years, I'm on this manifesty stuff where I'm like, oh, I gotta be positive. And I had stopped writing angry songs because I was like, I can't do that.
I was like, Jackie, please. She's like,
And I think this was such a release, and like everything about the song feels like it's attached to that, where it's just like, I need to just let it go and embrace whatever is flowing through me. So there you go.
Well, the music video for it too, there's some great choreography, at least for the puppet sequence. Your bassist is fantastic.
our
also.
bassist
She's like really a great physical like face. She's like Jim Carrey. Like she like says 1,000 words with her face.
Yeah, she's incredible.
What was the choreography like?
the choreography was sick. Like the director was like Caitlin made it all and like taught it to us all. But like I just want to say about Lauren, she's a classically trained vocalist.
Okay.
She went to UCLA for classical singing. The end, the harmonies, that's her doing that. And like I think like from her classical training, she just has so much control over her face and stuff, and like it's so sick. Like she definitely like helps us all.
And she just goes for it.
Yeah.
Like she's just so confident and amazing and has helped us so much
Yeah.
with everything.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. We're not at
Yeah.
her level yet
Yeah.
in acting.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of just like the other members of your band, you're playing as a duo right now, but you have 2 other members, which you
Yes.
brought on fairly recently within the past couple of years.
Yeah.
What was the conversation like bringing when you're like, we need a rhythm section now?
Well, we like all of our songs were recorded with the rhythm section. I just played all the parts, and then we spent like years doing shows as a duo and stuff, and it's just like
Him on the drums.
yeah.
is crazy.
Sometimes I'd play the drums and sing. Jackie would play the guitar and sing. Like, but we were like these songs would slap so much harder if there was a full band.
Yeah.
Like it just like that's how the music's written and like. Or like that's how the music's like written to be envisioned, And it was actually like, at first, there was some like back and forth because it's like, oh, it's so like special to have a artist that is just like doing like acoustic and singing. But then we found the right band and played the songs like that, and it was just like no going back, Like
Yeah.
it's just having a rhythm section that is tight, knows the songs, will play it right. Like knows the feel. There's like nothing better ever in the world,
Ecstasy.
Yeah.
So what can we expect from you in the near future?
Oh, so many things. Well,
More videos.
more videos, more songs. We recorded. We like have recorded 3 songs. So like, there's 2 more that are gonna kind of go with Self Control. We just recorded. One we scored strings for it, and we have like string players.
We
coming
just
in
had the
studio.
violinist this week.
Yeah, and
And a harpsichord.
oh yeah,
Really
someone
crazy.
left a harpsichord, and we're like,
You should go to Lollipop.
They just
Yes.
left the harpsichord around?
Yeah, they like
They were
Lollipop
using-
has all these artists who will like leave their stuff in the studio.
and they're all really
It's
quirky
crazy.
and
That's so
crazy,
cool.
and yeah, it's super sick.
So you scored the strings. though.
Yes, yeah,
So you write all of those strings, all of the textures on the album
Yeah.
as well. You 2 wrote that.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
I
I show up into the studio, he has it all done, and then I'll be like, I want this.
Yeah, yeah.
I hear this.
That's so cool.
so I'm like my mate. Like I'm a producer, and like I produce at Lollipop as well. And I love producing. That's
Yeah.
my favorite thing ever. And so it's like, I get to. It's nice being someone who produces and having, Iggy, the producer we work with, and he's also the engineer, so I don't have to engineer anything. I
Yeah.
can just be like, I want a synthesizer. He's like, okay, and then I make the synthesizer, and then he like, finds all the best compressors and EQs for it and stuff like that, and like it's so nice like that. But all of those texture, every single sound in on the album is like all very like just like intentional and like it's like that's what I love about it is it's not going to a studio with a producer recording the songs and then like them whipping it into something else. It's like we like really make it all,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been such a great interview. Thank you so
This
much.
has been so fun. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.